Hi, this is Gerald Calloway again. This is part two to educational reform. We're going to talk about restructuring and purpose. In part one, which was this video, I explained everything. I know it's backwards, but I didn't want to sit here and waste time putting it back. But the name was changed to Educational Reform, part one, purpose and structure. Um, in this video, we're going to talk about scheduling a class for the children that will address every need that we need. What, in, or I'm just going to lay it out easy because I don't want to get too detailed and make it too complicated. We need psychology, ethics, and nutrition added to our system, the curriculum, and we also need the purpose, which was space exploration, hazardous climate, agriculture, and water creation. Each one of those will have a separate, the water will have a separate video on. I also believe we need to streamline the education, not only add that to it. Technical math has to be a primary thing because learning all this math on different levels is really irrelevant when what we're doing is trying to go to space and do space exploration. Second is science. We need to streamline this to the important things and actually have, how would you call, field trips to do scientific experiments, which are like testing water, looking for nitrates, looking for pollutants, and basically understanding water itself. Science also includes chemistry. That's part of it, so we can test and understand what's going on and what needs to be done. Then we have reading comprehension has to be ramped up. You have to be able to read and understand what you're reading. When I was a kid, we had books in class that you could pick up and read and take a little test, and if you passed, you go to the next book. We had that for math. We had it for everything. So this takes the class to a silent kind of class if we have those educational system booklets. I think they were scholastics or something like that. I can't remember. But another biggest thing that ties hand in hand with nutrition is physical education. We have to get these kids exercising at a minimum of 30 minutes a day. And I mean exercising, not just standing there talking. I'm talking about exercise, push-ups, sit-ups, jogging, something. The class is for their benefit, not to be fun time. You get fun time at lunch. You get an hour at lunch. You have fun then. This is school. The other class is space itself. These have to be scheduled on the level of first, second, third. You can go through the thing, but you have to put space into their head, not only just saying, well, space exploration's your goal. You're going to be actually in it and part of it. Those are the most important things we can do. I'm going to get to later about summer, but I believe summer shouldn't be just sitting there doing nothing, forgot what you learned. I think it should be online courses you have to complete at your leisure, not like being in school. Sit down for an hour a day and touch up on what you learned the previous year. This is reinforcement training, so they're prepared for the next class. I know this sounds like a lot, but it's not really. I'm proposing also with reform that there's 9 classes, core classes I have in there. That's psychology, ethics, nutrition, technical math, science, reading comprehension, space itself, physical education, and this is the most important one that I want to add in here. when politicians pass bills and are voting on bills, or there's bills in Congress or the House of Representatives, no one's paying attention. I believe every year, first grade, kindergarten would be nice, but I think it wouldn't be bad. But I'm mostly focusing on first through, say, year 14, your second level of education. You get 12 from school and 2 from community colleges, which I think should be subsidized by the government, and the lottery system can easily pay for it. They're 2 years as long as they have grades good enough to get in and can pass the entrance. If you don't, another option, which is the only option, is you go into the military. And how this would work is that you go in for 3 years, you get 3 years, and you do online schooling at your convenience. But you have to pass and come out or be close enough to completing your associates. I think it should be a complete an associate's degree of something in line with your MOS, which is military occupational skill. We do this, then everyone has a degree by the time they get out of school. And that puts us in competition with countries across the nation, which we're at the last check, 25th or something. Just ridiculous. We're the greatest nation on earth, and our average person doesn't have an associate's. This stops all these people going into crime, going into drugs, and you're getting psychology to stop that, hopefully ethics, and nutrition. If you're eating well, you're not going to want drugs. I'm going to go into another video on that, of getting people off drugs and why they're on it and what are the triggers. That's not here right now. Back to 9-hour school day. I think it should be from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. with an hour lunch. And each class is 45 minutes, and you get 15 minutes in between classes to kind of collect yourself, get your books, talk a little bit, and then get to class on time. I think that's very reasonable. And that kind of alleviates the stress of being there 9 hours, which isn't stress, it's just something to do instead of sitting at home screaming, yelling, and whatnot. This has 2 things that helps. It helps our students be more relaxed by learning more, or as they learn more, and this gives single parents and dual household parents working a break, because if they can drop their kids off, get to school, get to work, and then work all day, then be able to get off work and then pick up their kids, it makes the world a much better place. And this is really the most important thing, to stop stress and to give more important home time with the parents instead of a babysitter, which costs money, which puts more stress on the family. It's just a whole circle. Summer program. Now, we have science, we have math, my idea of it is, like I said, maybe an hour a day, 3 days a week. You just read these little books and take a test online. And of course, it's going to have your picture as you're taking the test, so no one can do the test for you. You have to do it. It's mandatory. When it's online, if you're on vacation with your parents and you're, say, live in Florida and you're going to the Grand Canyon, you just go online and do your class. It's no big deal. I mean, it's 1 hour, 3 times a week, a total of 3 hours that can be done at any given time. And it will be video marked, so you can hear if parents are doing it or if you're just doing it by yourself. And if there's something wrong with that, then there's hell to pay, because child services are going to get involved. This is important to keep them on track to jump to the next year. Now, I can hear, or I've heard a lot of people say, oh, they can't even handle what they're doing now. Blah, blah, blah. Well, the idea of 9-hour classes is that these classes are interactive. So you're learning and being interactive, and you're not sent home with homework. Okay? There's no need for homework when you have this much time and you can cover a program over a 12 grade period. This simplifies things. When you have technical math, you're ready to do technical things. In your 2 years at college or community service, you can specialize or focus on whatever you're trying to do for whatever program you're looking for to get in. You want to be an astronaut, I want to be the tower control, I want to be whatever. But that's the 2 year period you get to specialize. So I'm proposing 14 years of education, 9 hours a day, with 1 hour lunch, 15-minute breaks in between, and no homework. Now, at home, you're going to have online modules you can go to and work on stuff and do things. But the idea here is to let kids be kids for a while. We're overloading them with so much stuff that it just blows their mind. We need to pull the reins back in and specialize and streamline what we're teaching them and allow these kids to be kids. And they have 14 years, 12 to high school, and 2 years in community college. And if you get a scholarship, you can go 4 or whatever, then transfer to your major school, whatever. But the ideology here is giving them enough that they can handle, but not overwhelming them. And it's by a bunch of not hearsay, but the way we're doing it's just exhausting because it makes no sense. We're learning stuff we don't need and never going to need, even in space exploration. That's why it's got to be focused. The one class I left out for the end, and I'm running out of time, is, or I want to go over and be explicit on, is that we pay attention to how everybody's voting. This has to be the most important thing because they'll see how politics work, why they're trying to do bills, and what's going on, and they can simulate that in school too, making class president and whatever is extracurricular. Past my 12 minutes, so I have to wrap this one up. But we're looking at psychology, ethics, nutrition, space exploration, technical math, bill act passing, watching it all, and actually doing it as part of social science, reading comprehension, space, already said space, but and phys ed. So these are the things. Phys ed works with the nutrition in part 1. This is part 2. So in part 3, I'll expand a little more and we'll go into a little more details. I'm skimming over this. I don't want to overload everything, but the basic ideology is that we're going to streamline and perfect what we need to know versus everybody trying to do something else, and it's a whole mess. Again, I'm Gerald Calloway. You can go to Gerald Gibson Calloway at YouTube and see all the videos. And God bless and have a great day. Bye-bye.